I'm a huge fan of beat 'em up games. I think that's common knowledge for anybody who knows me and watches my stuff. Back in the 90s, it seemed like every company made at least one attempt at a beat 'em up game, and Capcom was one of the kings of the genre with games like Captain Commando, Final Fight, Armored Warriors, and the list goes on and on. And to me, one of the standouts in the genre for Capcom is this game, Knights of the Round. Before this game came out, Capcom had an arcade title called The King of the Dragons, another beat 'em up in a swords and sorcery setting. This one though is heavy on the swords but light on the sorcery. This game is all about the hack and slash action. This time inspired by the legend of King Arthur. Here Arthur is joined by fellow Round Table Knights Percival and Lancelot to quest to unite England and obtain the Holy Grail. As with all beat 'em up type games, different characters have unique traits. Percival is the strongest, wielding an axe. The rapier-toting Lancelot is the fastest, and Arthur is the best rounded character. Of the three, I think Arthur is my favorite, with my least favorite being Percival. His axe is powerful, but he moves so slow and he is unable to do a jumping attack. But he does have the ability to dash, which I think is fairly interesting. As you play, there is a leveling system making your character stats go up as your score increases. Their appearances will also change. With every few levels, the characters amass more and more armor to their bodies. These levels are actually bound to the player and not the character you pick, so if you continue and decide to change who you are playing as, you keep all the benefits of your level, which is a very good thing, as this game is pretty tough. I imagine this one made short work of plenty of piggybacks in its time. In another interesting spin on a common beat 'em up trope, when you find large treasure or food items, you can attack them and split them up for greater points or effect. This isn't like Gauntlet, where shooting the food is a big no-no. One interesting thing of the gameplay is that you can block an enemy's attack by pressing the attack button opposite the way you're facing. I found this a little tricky to get a handle of, but it's quite useful to use, and blocking and countering is a very effective strategy, especially against the bosses. If you're playing the Super Nintendo version of this game, that one actually has a dedicated block button. I'll be talking a little bit more about that Super Nintendo port later on. Another part of the gameplay that I find very unique is the ability to mount a horse in battle. The horses can stomp your enemies and you become a little harder to hit while riding, but if you take too many attacks or get knocked off the horse too many times, the horse will get spooked and run off. Maneuvering on the horse isn't exactly intuitive, but I like it much more than riding those weird dinosaur dragon creatures from Golden Axe. Visually, I feel this game has a great look. There's something about the art style which is very, very Capcom. If you've played a lot of their arcade titles, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The music is quite good here too. It doesn't quite jump out to me the way the music in Magic Sword did, but Isao Abe, who also did a number of songs for Street Fighter II, made some solid themes here which fit the game quite well. For this review, I've been playing the arcade version on my PSP on the Capcom Classics Collection Reloaded compilation, which includes versions of Street Fighter II and a number of other awesome titles. But the game was also ported to the Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo port is quite faithful, but not perfect. It looks excellent, but it moves a little slow in comparison to the arcade, and it is missing the 3-player co-op mode. It's still quite playable, but it's also worth noting that that Super Nintendo version is currently going for around $70 US for a loose cartridge. So if you're not looking to spend that kind of money, you might be better off just buying one of the many compilations that it appears on nowadays. But anyway, if you like some old school beat 'em up or hack and slash action, this game is definitely worth a look. That about wraps up my review of Knights of the Round. What are your favorite Capcom arcade titles? Leave a comment down below. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.